everybody and welcome back to Combe Valley Campers. Today we're going to be working on Joe's split again and we're going to be fitting a new windscreen wiper kit. Whilst working on Joe's build, we have the pleasure of working with some excellent companies, and today we have Butty from Buttys Bits. Thanks for joining us today.
Wow.
We have some of the parts that you not only supply, but you've designed and you build these parts. Is that correct?
Yep, that's it.
We have a replacement wiper motor today, and we've got your infamous throttle kit. We have got problems with these ones, right? They're a little bit loose, the spindles are a bit knackered, and it was one of the things Joe asked us to do was to get his wiper motor back up to snuff. So what can you tell us about this wiper motor and why is it different to one that we would find on a normal split screen bus?
They are extremely hard to find, and if you do find one, they're normally a 6-volt.
Okay.
And basically, yeah, there's nothing else out there other than reworking an original, which you can't get the motor to replace it. So in the end, I just decided to make one from scratch. So everything on there is made locally, and the only parts that aren't are generally the motor itself and the spindles, which I buy in.
Before we started filming, you explained to me that this is actually a VW part as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it's for a T4, is that right?
Yeah, T4 motors,
yeah.
And then reworked internally through the output shafts and also the wire inside of it.
And they are built to last by the looks of it. So everything's CNC cut out of steel, is that right?
CNC cut, and then it's folded, and then basically just assembled. But there's all sorts of little parts, like you can't get the little nylon bushes. It all runs on little nylon bushes and stuff. And so basically find the bushes and then make the part fit the bush and then put it all together and hope that it all works all right.
And it's a stunning piece of kit, and one that is, well, you distribute and sell all over the world, right?
Yeah, they've gone everywhere, yeah.
And, well, basically because they're not available as a used part, and you've got an improvement. So when we bolt this up and plug it in, for example, we've got what, a 2-speed motor, is that right now, as opposed to a single speed that it would have had?
It'll be, if that's a 67, then that should have been 2-speed with a park, which that will be 2-speed and a park.
Brilliant.
And it should run quieter, almost silent.
Brilliant.
Pretty well much.
Super. Well, what we're going to be doing today is tearing the parts out on the dash that's required to remove the old mechanism, and then we'll be refitting this on camera. But before we do that, explain a bit about this kit and why we should replace this, or if you've got a bus similar to this, why it's best to replace it and the advantages of doing so.
Well, this is a right-hand drive split screen throttle kit, and it will go from 1955 to 1967. So it covers the whole right-hand drive split screen area. Basically, you're bolting it onto the original mounts. It gives you better control. It's got spring return on it, so it's all better felt underneath the pedal, and it should last years and years.
And if you've seen underneath, I think we even pointed this out, the underneath of these buses, and it's splits and bays that use a similar kind of mechanism. It's all metal on metal parts, whereas if you take a look at this bit, we've actually got sealed roller bearings. Yeah. There's rose jointed parts, and everything's either stainless steel or is it zinc coated, or
gone for the stainless steel on the shaft itself, because we found that if you use a mild steel shaft and have it coated, it won't fit through the bearings. So those shafts got scrapped, and then we went stainless. But even the stainless comes a little bit over the 10mm size, so I have to just linish the outsides down so that they fit in the bearings nice. Because you need, one end is fixed with circlips, and then the other end is actually slidable. And the slidable, you'll see what the reasoning for that is later.
Excellent. And then we've got some supporting parts with that as well. So we've got a rubber boot to replace the knackered one that's in the floor, and that part here.
The tiny spanner.
Yep.
We have on here, on these little ball joints, you have a little 8mm 8mm flats on the ball joint, and it is really hard. People were finding it really hard to actually tighten them up. So in the end, we just made our own 8mm spanner, which just fits on there like that. It fits on, then you can do the nut up from the other side, and then do whatever you like with that. Keyring,
something to hang from your mirror.
Tiny bottle opener, whatever you like.
Brilliant, and it's got the spring return, because in a bus normally you'd have the only spring return would be on the carb, right?
The kit itself would, so right hand drive, you'll have a hole in the floor, you have your pedal here above the floor, and then this mounts underneath the chassis. So basically you've got, as you off throttle, it springs back, returns back quite nice. Originally I don't think there was actually even a spring on them. I think it was only whatever people put on them to make them spring back, because the only other spring you have is normally one underneath the pedal, which is normally a little hair spring,
and they always disappear or whatever. Brilliant. Well, I mean, I fitted a number of these before on buses I've worked on through the years, and I can totally well, endorse them, and I can guarantee the quality on them as well, and which is why you've got involved today. So I think without further ado, let's get into this. Let's tear out the old stuff and get replacing your wiper motor.
Should take longer to take it out than it does to put the new one in.
Super, let's go.
That's the plan.
So one of the problems we've got with this vehicle then, apart from the fact that it's a slow motor and it's probably broken, is that the spindle seems to sort of drop in and out, and we're not getting much attachment or much contact with the screen. Can we sort of expect that, or is there any way we can improve it?
The reason that we've got this going on is the little black clip in here has probably rotted away or pinged off, and in the whole shaft everything just comes out of the spindle.
So we get this.
So we get backwards and forwards, bad contact on the screen, and just generally just doesn't work very well.
Brilliant. So this kit will stop all of that.
It all comes in there.
I think, well, both of them have got it. So I guess first things first, we're removing the wipers, then removing the nuts underneath.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we can maybe look into maybe cleaning this up. It looks like somebody's had a go in the past, but these, because they've got the VW emblem in there, you just told me that they're actually genuine.
The genuine ones tend to have a stronger spring on them. That seems to press the arm and the blade against the screen a bit better. There are various repro ones out there, and they all vary in quality generally, but I'm an originals man, so I like it a bit original. So they tend to have the better spring on them.
Brilliant.
Just a little bit more uglier.
But for now, we can just undo that tiny 6mm kind of grub screw, I guess. That's one off. Yeah, that's had it, right?
And you can see the play in the hole. So
nobody
they're
wants
proper
that.
worn out, I would say.
Brilliant. Yeah, you can see where they've been riding on the spindle as well, where it hasn't been tight or anything else. So there you go. We've got a genuine VW arm there. You can see the little logo, but it's all covered in paint or whatever. So we'll clean all of that up as well before we put them on. But let's get the spindles out this side, and then what's that? Sitting inside, removing the original motor.
These ones, on a 66 and a 67, it comes out as one great big complete unit. So yeah, it means parcel shelf down, steering column possibly off, and then basically the whole lot should slide out.
Brilliant, let's get on it. Well, that was a bit of a battle, but we've managed to get what we've now discovered, or what you can deduce from this is a early bay window motor.
Early bay window motor,
yeah,
that's been hacked, and then extra holes have been drilled into the original frame, the yoke in here. So that means a bigger motor was tried to be fitted between the two air ducts, which meant it didn't fit.
It's never going to happen.
So the insides have been beaten over to make it fit. So this is what people did before you could actually get the proper one.
Well, there you go. That's actually really good for the video as well, or for people at home to see. If you're having trouble getting your wiper motor mechanism out, it could be for one of a number of reasons, but one of those could be that the fact it's had a later early bay motor attached to it, and it's just the only replacement you can get at the time.
Yeah, I think that is probably the way. I think a little bit more trimming on it when they took it off and tried to fit it, it would have gone in and come out lovely.
But it's still tight here. You can see where it was rubbing.
Marks.
And we think the rag behind it that we discovered, that was probably trying to cushion the sound maybe.
And as you can see, it's shown its age a little bit now.
It's battered.
This is a finger guard to stop you bashing your fingers when it's operating, and you can see that's all had. This is normally flat. See, with mine, I've given it a taller cover, so in theory it covers a little bit higher up. But other than that, yeah, the original one it served its purpose, but it's been doctored,
done its time.
All the spindles, where the plugs have come out, the clips have come off. That's what's doing all of this. So it would never do a proper sweep because it's all bent. So one side's a bit shorter than the other. So it was always working against itself. So that is that. That's beautiful.
Let's get it fitted. Let's get your one put in, and then what?
Yeah.
Lunch?
Oh yeah, yeah. Donuts.
Good. Before we go any further, I just want to say thank you very much for watching this video. We're doing a whole series on Chippy, so if you don't want to miss any episodes, make sure to give this video a like and click subscribe. Thank you very much. Now back to the show. Just about to pop it in then. We've removed the nuts and washers, but keeping one of these neoprene washers on the spindle because they'll be on the inside of this front panel just here. But you've got something else that you brought with you, which is a spray. It's just a chassis wax.
Just like a bit of a spray wax. They're going to be, once they're in there, they're not going to be seen for a long time. So the best thing I like to just give it a little squirt over some of the joints, some of the places that it mounts up. You're not going to see it. It sits in there. It's got a little bit of protection on it from any water that does get in. The whole idea of these rubber seals is to keep the water out, stops the water getting in through and dribbling down the front panel. So basically a little bit of squirt that isn't going to hurt it. And then I'll put a little bit of 3-in-1.
A bit of squirt ain't going to hurt. Right, let's do that.
a little bit of oil on the spindles. They come pre-greased anyway. So really, there's nothing you should need to do with it for a long, long time. Well, that's the plan anyway.
Cool.
All right.
Do your worst.
I only really do it because I like the smell.
The last point, or the last thing we want to point out before this actually gets bolted up inside is this earth lead here. So when you receive this kit, the earth will be attached to this rubber mount, or this insulating mount right here. Don't move it from this side. Don't move it at all, just leave it where it is, because when you bolt this earth up, this will attach directly, I keep saying earth, it's the ground, isn't it? The ground itself will attach to the body of the vehicle, so it can't be this side, obviously, because you've got a big rubber block in between. So leave the grounding lead.
Screw it into the bottom of the U section. There's a little threaded nut. You screw that into there, bed it down nice and hard as you can with your fingers, and when you screw it all up from this side, it will tighten up anything if it could go a little bit tighter, it will. And then that way then you don't need to run an earth all the way back to the fuse board or to the body or anything like that. You've already got your earth, it's already there.
Super. Let's get on with it. Is there anything we can do to these right now, or is it just a case of potentially, Because they've got the spring, is it potentially bending the arm so they're contacting more?
They've got, normally they'd be pretty much straight.
Right.
And they wouldn't have this on the end.
Okay.
I think that's over. So at some point someone's bent them there.
So they can be closer to the screen.
To try and get closer to the screen, but sometimes that creates more problems.
Okay.
So
should we flatten them out?
Until you get it on there and offer it up, what we need to do now is see where they stop. Yeah. So we need to power it.
Well, let me do that underneath, and then you can see.
You're able to do that?
Yeah.
And then I can tell. Although saying that, if you tell me which way the spindle's sitting, is it sitting that way or is it sitting that way?
It's can't see. Right, it's pointing that way.
So from below, it's doing that. So that means that the rod, the arm's going to be over there.
Okay, let me just see if I can do this.
That's right. No, we've got it. And that's parked, yeah? Yeah, so that's parked, so that's where the blade's going to finish every time. Okay. So on his side, it's going to finish over there, like that. It's such a debate as to what's the correct way. A lot of people aren't able to tell you because normally they just stop it where they're happy. But they couldn't actually tell you without physically looking at their van where they're happy.
Oh, okay.
One person could quite like the blade being over here.
Yeah.
Another person could quite like having the blade over here as a driver.
Yeah.
It's me in a left-hand drive van. I like the fact that the blade stops over here, then I can see down to the curb and the pavement. Whereas a blade in the way would hinder me a bit.
Right-hand drive fan, similar sort of circumstances.
It's hard to say whether or not that's better to that, and it's personal preference. But on that motor, to alter it, you turn the centre driver 180 degrees round, and then that will make them park in the opposite side.
Oh, so there's an ability.
Yeah, they're left or right. They're neither left or they're neither right. They can be either. They'll do either.
Okay,
so, all right.
So it's the trial and error time now of getting the position right, and we'll be doing this. What do you reckon? 5 or 6 times?
I reckon probably 5 or 6 times. Yeah.
Before you get it right, because then once you think you've got it in the right position, then we'll turn the wipers on,
and it won't be in the right.
And it won't be in the right position. So let's do that about there. See if that looks right.
I've done this before, so it's better that you learn how to do it, isn't it?
Thanks, buddy.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, that's a bit close, but let's give it a go on the switch. And let's go from there, shall we? Tell me if there's any horror stories right away.
Oh yeah, of course. I don't need to go in there now.
No.
Yeah, you see, look, and you've got a bigger gap here.
Yeah.
So you want, just a.
I want to move her over just a hair. Where did that spanner just go? Oh, go mad, isn't it?
It's quite a stunning thing, really.
Oh, that's looking alright.
No, I think if you move.
It's the play and that spindle there, isn't it? Not your spindle. Your spindle's solid, but the actual hinge.
Oh, there is. Yeah. You only want a little bit of play in one part, and it generates lots on her.
Especially another sort of 6 to 12 inches away. Oh, that's probably a bit too much now, isn't it?
No, I'd go with that.
Yeah?
I'd give it a try. Yeah.
Okay, cool. They look fairly even.
They always do weird things. You never can tell what they're going to do. Single. That's the blue.
Is that looking alright?
Yeah. Might change. Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, man.
But to be honest, if you're out in weather and it's that fast you need your blades, you might as well pull over.
And they park nice. Look at that. Very happy with that, my man.
Of course.
And now they've been. Look at that. They're on there.
I think the fact you had play in the spindle, plus the linkage itself was all mangled. Everything's tight now. It's as it should be.
Dude, I'm well happy with that. Well happy. Well, thank you very much for that.
No worries.
So that is the complete right-hand drive 66-67 kit from Buttys Bits, replacing your windscreen wiper motor and mechanism. The windscreen wiper mechanism is now fitted and working beautifully, so thanks for that. We're now going to move on to the throttle pedal linkage. Now, we explained before that they get worn out.
Yeah.
Show us where and how.
Well, it's a solid shaft going through two holes that have two square lugs that have got a hole in.
Yeah.
And it just wears a big old step, and eventually the whole end can just break off. It's quite an antiquated thing.
Yeah.
Right-hand drive, I feel, was always an afterthought.
Yes.
Volkswagen,
you can almost see there's tabs welded on, they're kind of in the right place.
And that seemed to go right up through probably into the 70s even,
Really?
with right-hand drive being, what are we going to do?
Okay, so your kit will basically replace all of that and use the factory mount holes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Originally we were going to make a throttle kit that went on there that you cut the mounts off, but a lot of people don't like altering them a great deal.
Sure.
So it was to find a solution that would work with what was already there, but hopefully improve it over what was there.
Brilliant.
So that was the plan.
And now you're going to watch us remove this old kit. You've got to punch a roll pin out of this hole here, and then this rod and bracket should just sort of slide apart, and then we can mount your kit in the right places with the
bolts straight on
with the fixtures
pretty
and
well
fittings.
much. Yeah.
And then we'll link up the cable and link up the pedal.
This should be a little bit less painful as what the motor was.
Yeah, well, we said that, didn't we,
Yeah,
before?
yeah,
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Lovely. Simple as that. How lucky are we then? We've just had Butty, who designed and made and built the kit, fit it to this vehicle. And look at it, it's absolutely stunning. So we've got the roller bearings. When you fit one, you've got to make sure that these tabs that are on the vehicle aren't bent, otherwise you'll find it binds. But we've got the retaining spring or the return spring on there as well. And what we've got actually in the back is Butty himself at the back of the vehicle there. He's playing carburetor. So when I move the pedal, it all springs back into place beautifully. And yeah, everything's machined, everything's finished beautifully. And well, it's an absolutely killer piece of kit. We love it. And it not only improves the feel of the pedal, but you actually get a better response to the carburetor too, because it's all that positive movement. Because if you get a tiny little play up this end, it'll only amplify by the time it gets to the back of the vehicle. So yeah, once you've got everything in tune like that, you actually get a more responsive throttle too. So thank you very much to Butty over at the back there playing carburetor. What a brilliant piece of kit. Successful day then.
Yeah,
we've got it all in. We had a bit of a problem getting this cranky old piece of rubbish out of there.
Frank and
oh, honestly, what a mess.
Frank and wiper.
But your kit's in, works beautifully, super happy, and the wipers just seem to work better than they probably have done in about 30 years. And then this, again, cranky piece of rubbish that is worn out beyond belief. It's obviously how it was designed back in the day, but the wear just on this piece of metal here, and also on this pin as well, you can just see how worn
it's halfway through, isn't
these joints are. Yeah, so a worthwhile investment if you're even thinking about heading over to Butty's website and looking at some of this kit. You'll see improvements in all of the facilities of your vehicle where you go and fit this improved gear. But thanks again for coming down. Really happy we can use your kit, showcase your kit, and fit it to this rather special vehicle. And if people want to buy your stuff or learn more about your stuff, where is the best place to find you?
Best place is on the website. That will be buttysbits.com. There is a Facebook page that is also Buttys Bits.
Yeah.
And there's an Instagram, and that is Buttys Bits as well. Yeah.
There you go. Don't search any sort of variations on that name. You might get all sorts of funny results come up in your search engine. But for now, thanks again. It's been an educational day and we've fitted some really nice kit to this vehicle. So for now, once again, thank you and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Combe Valley Campers. If you like this sort of content, it's not just projects that we do. We've got over 150 videos showing you how to build, maintain, repair and convert your own camper van. Now all the videos and playlists you'll find in links down below, but you can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and we also have a podcast, which is the Camper Van Cast, and again, you can find it in a link down below. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.